Recently, I came up with a very creative question. It's a question I'm sure none of you have ever heard before. I want all of you to answer this question, but you only have 10 seconds to give me a clear, well-grounded, and confident answer. No pressure. Are you ready? What do you want to be when you grow up? Your time's up. I bet that wasn't the first time you've ever heard that question, right? But I needed a very engaging hook to capture your attention. The truth is, we've all heard this question over and over and over again. At family dinners, during conversations with our friends, with our teachers at school, at Alessia's TED Talk, and the list goes on. This question echoes around us, and it is inevitable to escape it, especially if you're a junior or a senior like I currently am. Today, this unpreventable question is often used as an icebreaker or as a conversation starter among people. However, it's not limited to affecting people our age only. I'm sure that at some point in our lives, we've all been victims to this question, and maybe still are, just not in the same way. Let me give you an example. As we grow up, society starts targeting us with a different yet very similar question. For all of the adults present right now, or those of you who have already attended college, correct me if I'm wrong. The new inevitable question for you is, what do you do for a living? As a society, we have been labeling people according to their degrees, job occupations, and salaries. But is that all that matters? Should that be our first impression of someone? This unconscious social pressure starts impacting us from our childhood years and continues into adulthood, pushing us to conform to social norms that dictate that we need a very successful job that pays very well in order to be happy. In fact, I want to tell you a little story. 2 years ago, I was new to this school, and I was working on a geography project with my teammates. We went outside, sat on a table, and started to draw the water cycle. We were all fully concentrated until we noticed that we were done, but there was still a lot of time left until the end of the class. Therefore, there was a moment of very awkward silence in which we all stood there, staring at each other. Suddenly, one of my teammates decided to ask us this daunting question. Hey, and do you guys know what do you want to be when you grow up? Everyone replied with the typical answers such as engineer, lawyer, and doctor. But I didn't reply at all. So he turned at me, looked me right in the eyes, and restated the question. Alessia, what do you want to be when you grow up? I told him that I didn't know, and that's why I didn't want to answer. Because it's a question that deeply, deeply stresses me out. So I remained silent. Yet he insisted, and he decided to intimidate me for the third time in a row with the same question. What do you want to be when you grow up? Happy, I answered. There was a quick pause, and then they all laughed in unison. I must be completely honest with you. That answer shocked me too. I didn't process my answer before saying it out loud. It was as if an unstoppable bullet fired from the inside of my heart and exited through my mouth. When I grow up, I want to be happy, I restated. This time, there was a moment of silence, a long pause. It was as if my teammates also realized that that one word, the word happy, had a deeper significance for each one of them too. I identified exactly what I meant by it, and I realized that it was more profound than what I initially thought. A few months ago, as I was writing this TED Talk, I came across a very similar answer from a person I'm sure many of us might know, John Lennon. This powerful quote goes like this. When I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me to write down what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment. I told them they didn't understand life. That's when I became aware of how deeply flawed that question is. Think about it. We all know it's a very important decision we'll all make at some point in our lives. But by insisting and asking the same question a billion times, does that really lead the person you're asking the question to into an answer? No, right? In fact, it will lead them to an overload of stress. And in extreme cases, that can lead to making impulsive decisions. A study published in the Journal of Career Development in 2019 found that young people who feel pressure to choose a specific career path early on are more likely to experience anxiety and depression related to their career decisions. Raise your hand if you've ever felt pressured, confused, overwhelmed, or lost when being asked this daunting question. What do you want to be when you grow up? Look around. You see all of those hands? You're not alone. Once more, we've all been victims to this question, as society keeps bombarding us with it, instead of providing us with the guidance and support that we need to navigate through this crucial decision-making process. I urge you all to stop asking that question. If you truly want to know what the answer to that question is, stop asking yourself and others, what do you want to be when you grow up? Instead, I challenge you to reflect on questions such as, who are you? What are your priorities in life? What legacy do you want to leave behind? How can your passions contribute to a better today? How do you picture your ideal self? What makes you happy? Through answering to these questions, I'm sure you'll get a clearer idea of what you want in life, and you will identify exactly what you should focus your time and energy on. Let's take a look at why I keep referring to this question as daunting, intimidating, and inevitable. For this, we will rhetorically analyze each word carefully as we would for an English class. Let's begin. What do you want to be when you grow up? When you grow up. What does that mean? When do we stop growing? This part of the question is indirectly suggesting that we must wait until we're a certain age in order to truly be someone valued and respected by society. In other words, we must wait until we have attended a very prestigious university, been awarded a very rigorous diploma, and been accepted at a very successful job. Isn't that what social norms have led us to mistakenly believe? It insinuates that a decision made during our childhood or teenage years is the #1 factor that will determine our success in the future. So my question to you is, are you willing to wait until you grow up? Or why do you put 100% of your attention in the future? According to the World Economic Forum, by 2025, automation and a new division of labor between humans and machines will disrupt 25 million jobs globally in medium and large-scale businesses across 15 industries and 26 economies. Jobs in areas such as data entry, administrative support, and accounting are decreasing in demand as automation and digitalization in the workplace increase. There is no guarantee that the job that you choose when you're 15 years old will still exist 10 years from now. I hate to be the one who breaks it up to you. The future doesn't really exist. However, the present, now, is what we have standing in front of us at this very moment. I challenge all of you to shift your focus from the future to the present. Start now with the tools and abilities that you currently have, and through your journey, you'll discover what truly makes you fulfilled on a daily basis. We tend to think of growing up as finite, as if you become something after graduating, and that is all you'll have until the day that you leave this floating gigantic sphere. I want all of you to eliminate that thought from your mind right now. Once more, eliminate that thought from your mind right now. I want you to stop acting as if your words and actions today are not as important as the ones that you will do in the future, ones that you have been labeled as an official lawyer, engineer, or doctor. Those are just labels. Why do we keep waiting around for tangible reassurance? We're humans, right? And as humans, we fail, we fall, we make mistakes, but most importantly, we learn, we grow. We like to constantly be challenging ourselves. We change our likes and dislikes. Life is short, and the world is wide. Possibilities are endless. But haven't you realized that at the end of the day, you are the one who's limiting your options and setting unconscious boundaries around your dreams simply because society has stated that we live to become rather than to be? Choosing what you want to be when you grow up is definitely not an easy task. But I've developed a strategy that will help you gain a different perspective on how we should all tackle this question. And the most important part of that action plan is create your own definition of happiness. Identify what small things on a daily basis make you happy and build your ideal life based upon them. Is it playing a sport, being with your family, reading, writing, going out with your friends? Use that as your ultimate goal in life instead of basing your career and measuring your worth upon a career. So, let's go once more to what you should focus on. Number 1, change the question. Number 2, shift your focus from the future to the present. And number 3, create your own definition of happiness. Now, if you're ever in a situation where you're being posed with this question and you don't have an immediate answer to it, don't panic. Instead, take a deep breath and remember that every single thing that you do each day ultimately shapes who you are, which is far more important than who you'll become. The key is to do what you love and love what you do. That's my secret weapon to success. In case you were wondering, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But now, instead of fear, I have faith. I'm 100% sure that despite of where I study, or what I choose to do, I will protect my happiness and pursue my passions above all. And I highly encourage all of you to do the same. So, before I leave, I want to ask you one little very important question. What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm kidding. I don't want to contradict myself. But what I do want to ask you is, who are you now? And what will you do in order to write your own story of success, but most importantly, to live a happy and fulfilling life? Thank you.